entire nation has said, let's rewrite the health care bill. Let's find what we can agree upon. No, 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 no. We're going to ram this down the throats of the American people, and anyone who stands in the way of doing that is going to be smeared, and they're going to be kicked out of Congress.
Well, there is Congressman Eric Massa, who resigned this afternoon. He is leaving Congress over charges he harassed one of his aides, which he seems to think was engineered by Democratic leaders angry at him over his no vote on health care. Now, Massa also said that ramming this bill through Congress will rip the country to pieces, as he put it. He was one of the Democratic votes against health care. He seems to think the Democratic leaders, Charles, were out to get him because of that. What do you make of this whole thing?
Well, I got a rule of thumb in Washington. If you ever have a choice between a conspiracy theory and sheer incompetence, it's always incompetence. He obviously is rather excitable, and he's upset, and I have no idea what's happened behind the scenes, but I suspect it's a lot more innocent than he charges. But I think the Democrats really have a problem. We've seen the waivers, the ones who said yes and now wavering no. They have not produced a single no in the first round who will now go to yes. If you do the math, you start with Pelosi's 220, one death, 2 retirements, a switch. The Republican who went for yes is now a no. You've got Stupak on abortion, 2 others on abortion, and perhaps 8 or 9 others. So Pelosi, and you need 216, so she's got to make up at least 8 or 10. And for every yes that you lose, you're going to have to switch a no. In the climate today, it looks really difficult, and I don't think that the president stumping is going to help any. It's almost as if he thinks, you know, if I just give my 38th speech, that will do it.
Charles.
But what there is here at the heart is there's an arcane and procedural issue. You know, I know it's going deep in the weeds, but you and I, Jim, by God, we've gone deep in the weeds, and there's no turning back right now. So here we go. If this is going to pass, the House has to accept the bill the Senate has passed as step 1. Now, I've heard that some members of the House want to attach a provision that says that unless the Senate then fixes it with the sidecar, this fixing amendment bill, that the bill passed in the House will stay in the House and never be on the president's desk, so it never becomes law. But I also understand that the parliamentarian in the Senate is saying that unless it becomes law, you can't have the sidecar. So it's a catch-22.
You mean you can't fix something that hasn't been passed?
That hasn't been passed. Now, if all of that is true, then what you have here is an issue of trust. Do the members of the House trust their own Democrats in the Senate? And there's an aphorism out of the House, which I think is attributed to Tip O'Neill, where he says of the House Democrats, the Senate, the House Republicans are the opposition, the Senate is the enemy. If it passes in the House, if it passes the Senate bill as is, what is the incentive ultimately for the changing of the bill in the Senate? It'll stay as is. They worry they're going to be left hanging high and dry.